Warning: the following broadcast contains strong opinions, playful antics, and controversial topics causing off-the-rails fun. Chances for being offended are higher than average for sensitive people. Viewer discretion is not advised. Live a little and have some fun.
Hey, well, welcome everybody to another episode of the Coach's Box. This is episode 253, and joined with just me for, I guess, right now is Kevin. Kevin, how we doing, man?
Man, doing great. It's been a good week coming back from Christmas break. I'm dog tired, and it's only Wednesday of the first week back from school.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but it's been
Yeah.
one of those starts to the week.
Hey, hold on. Now, I know it's just you and me, but I'm getting some breaking news. We have with us this evening a guy that is special and near and dear to us, and he's coming back for tonight. So bring him on. We have Mr. Jim Powers with us this evening. Jim, how we doing, man?
Hi, boys. It's like the prodigal son returns.
Oh, love that story, especially when Jim Powers is the payoff on it.
It's great to be back with you boys. It's been way too long.
Well, you've been busy, and we can kind of just segue right into this, man. Tell us what all you've been up to, because you're telling me you are here, there, and everywhere, and you've been at some big showcases and big games. So fill us in.
Yeah, I mean, the fall, and that's one of the reasons, just for everybody, one of the reasons I just stepped away for a little while was just the fall championship season was crazy. Between, the Sooner Athletic Conference championships, helping the NAIA out with their National Cross Country Championship down in Pensacola, Florida, and then doing the Norm Stewart Classic, the Bill Rowe Classic, seeing some great high school stuff, and then finally wrapping things up Monday night and driving back yesterday from the FCS championship down in Nashville, which was terrific. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind. I can at least now put my suitcase away for at least a couple months before our conference championships for basketball at the end of February, and then the NCAA stuff at the end of March between the D2 stuff. And, this year we finally get the we get all three championships out at Indy. The
Oh, wow.
D2 and D3 men will play at Gainbridge on the Sunday between the Final Four and the national championship, and the NIT as well on that Sunday. So they'll do the quarter and semis in Pittsburgh, and then they'll take the two teams to Indianapolis and let them play on the big stage. The first Sunday in April. So it's going to be really exciting. I know we were supposed to do that back in 20 when COVID hit down in Atlanta, and just wasn't able to do it. So with the rotation, it sounds like every 5 years when it goes to Indy, that's when we'll bring and the NCAA will bring D2 and D3 in to do their national championship games, in conjunction with the Final Four. So it's a great idea, and it's a lot of fun. But I'm going to tell you, and I know, Kevin, I know you're going to lead us into us. What a terrific weekend I had down in Nashville with the FCS football championship.
I'm going to say it again later, and I said it to these guys before we got on, but man, does the FCF get playoff football right. Um, you get the two best teams at the end of it, and those two teams just went toe to toe for 60 minutes of football, and a blocked extra point was the determining factor in overtime. A blocked extra point.
The last 15 minutes of that game were the absolute wildest 15 minutes of football I've ever seen. And, Montana State, they've been there two times in the last since COVID, and haven't been able to do it because they've run into either South Dakota State or North Dakota State. And they were the 2 seed and well deserved. But Illinois State was looking to do something that nobody has ever done, and that's win 5 playoff games on the road.
Wow.
And they came in on an absolute. They knocked off North Dakota State up at the Fargo Dome, which just doesn't happen. Just doesn't happen. They went out to California to play Cal State or UC Davis, and then had to go to the East Coast and play Villanova. And then this.
After freaking flyer miles.
I think the final number, and ESPN, which absolutely did it. I mean, the job that ESPN did was absolutely terrific. I want to say the number was 6,000 miles round trip for the five playoff games that they participated in. I mean, the crowd was great. They put 24,000 in Vanderbilt Stadium, which was the 7th largest crowd in FCS championship history. The second largest at a true neutral site, because when FCS first started, they played in Huntington, West Virginia. They played down in Statesboro, and then they finally moved it to Frisco. And then this year and next year, Nashville. And I've already made the comment, it's going to take a lot to wrestle this thing away from Nashville, because they did a really, really terrific job in hosting. And Vanderbilt was terrific. Their facilities are just unbelievable. And it was a great experience. I know the fans loved it because Broadway was filled every night that I was down there. And I got there on New Year's Day, and Broadway was packed with Montana State and Illinois State fans that evening. And it just got bigger and bigger and bigger as the weekend, hit. But you're right, Kevin. It is the best way to do it. They got the two teams that were playing the best football at the end of the year. And Illinois State, I know those guys extremely well from the Missouri Valley Football Conference and some of the work in the past that I've done with them. My heart broke for those kids. Just the way that thing played out, it was a shame somebody had to lose. It really, truly was. And Tommy Rittenhouse, the quarterback for Illinois State, put that team on his back in the second half. I mean, they scored. They score with 1:06 left in the first half to cut it to 14-7. Montana State does what Montana State does, and they go 3 plays, 75 yards, 36 seconds. And that's what Montana State does. And Lotson, their quarterback, is absolutely terrific. He's a D1 kickback, from Stanford. And then they've got this receiver, Dollar, who is just unbelievable. And that was the hookup at the end of the game in the overtime. But those teams just went toe to toe. And it was one of the best football games I've seen in a long time. And like I said, that last 15 minutes, you weren't sitting on the edge of your seat. You were standing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people may not know, like, the process is, like, for the media, they shut the elevators down from the press box to the field with 5 minutes left in the game so that the coaches can get down to the field level. So we're all scampering around getting down to the field 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We get out of the elevator, we hear everybody going insane because Illinois State just scored to tie the game, and we're running. So we all got to go one way, and then you go right to go to the field. I'm going left to get to the golf cart to take me to the post game interview room.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling the poor volunteer driver, I'm like, you better get this thing going quick, 'cause I ain't missing any more of this thing. And, get up, and this fat kid sprinted to got out of the cart, ran into the football building, got to the interview room, and watched the end of it. And I mean, there wasn't a person sitting that last 15 minutes, and that's what football's all about. And Chris Childers, and I'm not sure if you guys have heard of Chris. He hosts the morning show with Rick Neuheisel on Sirius XM
Yeah.
College Sports.
Mm-hmm.
His comment was, I was listening to the show yesterday morning driving back, and he hit it right on the head. The way those kids played brought back the purity in college football that we are missing now because of the portal, because of NIL money, because of this, that, and the other thing. The way those two teams went at it,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't care about NIL. They didn't care about transfer portal. They wanted to play for the love of the game. And it showed between Montana State and Illinois State. It was great to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
But it was even better to just be in that stadium to witness it. It was just a lot of fun.
And that's what, Kevin. I mean, you can put the bow on it before we kind of transition. But my question, I would think, is how many of those players at non FBS level, whether it's, I'm going to call it the 1AA because that's just how we grew up on it, but whether
Yeah.
that's that or the D2 or the D3, how many of those guys are in those programs more than 1 year, right? And staying, or and maybe they're grad, maybe they're I don't know, maybe they're grad transfers or whatnot. But like
hmm
when you talk about the purity of the game, how many of them are there more than just being hired guns, so to speak?
And I'll use the one example that I'll use is Mark Rukowski. He went to South Dakota State, led South Dakota State to, I want to say, two national
Yeah.
championships. And he stayed for 4 years. He played it. He was a Jackrabbit for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you know what? I've done everything I can do on this level.
Mm-hmm.
I got one more year eligibility.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, and that's kind of how you see a lot of the FCS guys is,
Mm-hmm.
they'll play out unless you're really, really good. Um, but most of those guys are going to play their eligibility, at these schools.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they've got that fifth year, and heaven forbid if the NCAA pulls this off, which it sounds like it's going to give everybody 5 years, um, then maybe a sixth year.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, use that last year at the Power Five or Power Four now. The G5, and I think that's kind of where you see it. But I think most of these guys, they're staying. In fact, a couple of the Montana State kids announced that they're already coming back for next year. They want to run it back. A couple of the really good Illinois State dudes, they've already said they're going to run it back. The young man from Youngstown State, who, I had a chance to, know his dad pretty well when he played at Youngstown State back in the day. He won the Walter Payton Award, which is the FCS equivalent of the Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
He's already said he could go play at a high level
Mm-hmm.
D1 right now. He wants to run it back with Youngstown State. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's, once again, I think that's where the purity of it is these kids love playing for their communities. They love, the coaching. They love that piece of it. And if they can accomplish what they want to accomplish with that last year, if they've got a fifth year, then so be it. Go and knock yourself out like Gronkowski did this year, going to Iowa and having a really successful year with the
Mm-hmm.
Hawkeyes this year.
One of the things that you find more at those smaller schools, those smaller campuses, is that there's a little bit more of a community feel at those campuses than there are in the bigger ones. So there's always a greater connection to those schools and those colors than there are at the Power Four and even G5 in some instances now. Plus the fact is while you're going to have some of those kids, some of those guys from the FCS, and I'm going to say guys because they're men now at 23, 24 years old. They realize that if they go into the portal thinking they're going to go Power 4, Power 5, there's 4,500 other football players in the portal that they have to compete with.
That's what I kind of wanted to bring up and broach the subject here, so we can do that. And so I've seen this online, and before I say anything, I want to get your take. So the question is, in your opinion, is college football broken? Before I answer, I want to hear what you have to say. And then we can kind of go back and forth on this. So that's this topic is college football broken?
The FCS or the FBS, the Power Four, and the Group of Five, absolutely, it's broken. And the only way that it gets fixed is they fix the calendar. When you fix the calendar, and you get the national championship game instead of on January 19th, like it's going to be this year, and you finish it up. I know a lot of people would love to see the FCS championship game played the first Monday of January, then back it up the next day with the FCS championship, and then open the portal up the next day, keep it open for 10 days, and then you move on. But until they fix the calendar, it's broke. You look at the coaching piece of it. Lane Kiffin and the whole LSU and half of his coaches, still coaching with Ole Miss and
Step number
Lane.
8.
Yeah, I gotta go back and watch the episode with the manifesto.
Right.
No, it was in the group chat. I'm gonna lay it out here in a few minutes when you're done with the episode.
But the bottom line is, right now, how many names are in the transfer portal?
I heard and Kevin, I think you just said it. I heard 4,500, but I don't know if that's I don't know if that's all sports or if that's just D1
That's just football.
Just football.
That's football in general.
Okay. Yeah.
I have heard it's above 5,000 now.
But it was 4,500 by weekend, which means it might be up to 5,000 now.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing's a hot mess, and the calendar is 100% the issue, and it starts and here's how you fix the calendar. I'm all for saying the calendar's messed up, but as a teacher, I'm about solutions, not problems. So
my God.
Here are my solutions to fixing.
Hey Jim, do you know what that sounds like an awful lot to me? That sounds like admin. That is an
middle management at best. Middle management.
That is admin right there.
I'm an assistant commissioner, and I say the same thing to the coach. You got a problem? Okay, problem. What's the solution?
Bring me the solution.
I can't solve it unless you bring me a solution. So I'm right there where Kevin says that's an admin issue right there.
Yeah. So I have the solutions. It's somebody else's job to implement the solutions. That's admin. All right. So. Step number 1, eliminate the conference championship games.
Agreed.
Eliminate them. Step 2, end the regular season the week of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
All right. Do that. Yeah. I would say even move Army Navy to that Thanksgiving weekend. Put Army Navy as the only college game on Thanksgiving. I think that would be a fantastic lead into that. I think everybody want to watch Army Navy more than they want to watch Dallas play Cowboys play
Chicago play Detroit.
Chicago, Detroit, Green Bay,
the 80th time.
Those stupid ass airbrushed helmets that look like they're the leather ones. No, that's done. 2, we're going to go to a 2014 playoff. All right, and you are starting that very next weekend after the regular season with 8. You're going to have 8 teams with buys. I believe that's how that works out.
Mhm.
when I do the math. It's 8 teams with buys.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the way the FCS is. There's
Yes.
the top 8 seeds get buys, and there you go.
And below that, you've got, and then you go to the very next week with the second round, third round. Championship game is played on or about January 1st. I'll say that.
Okay.
You can still keep the bowl season, and those can be for teams that either lose in the first round or don't make the playoffs. That would also accomplish a very big feat in eliminating some of those crappy ass bowl games that nobody wants to watch anymore. Keep the good ones, like where you dump stuff on coaches. That's great. Pop-Tarts, love it. Keep all that stuff. Eliminate the Maxi Pad Independence Bowl. We don't need that one. Okay.
Okay, explain this, Jim.
Wow.
Explain this to me like I don't know. Why can't you in the playoffs? Why can't the Duke's Mayo Bowl be a part of the playoff in Kevin's world?
I'm going to answer that question for you in a minute.
Okay.
Home game.
Right.
Home games on campus is where the playoffs need to be.
Okay.
Higher seeds should get home games. I don't want to play a first-round playoff game in Shreveport, Louisiana. No. Let me go to Lubbock, Texas to play at Texas Tech. That's the deal. That's why.
When
right.
Dan Lanning, who once again, and okay, I'm going to be the Big Ten guy here for a second. Okay.
It's a safe space here.
It's a safe space. Yes, it's Jarvis is in here. It's a safe space. But when he comes out, before they're going to play in whatever game it was, I forget which one they were in over the weekend because the weekend was a blur. But when he comes out and says, hey, this game should be in Lubbock, they're the 4 seed. They deserve to have the home game. For a dude, opposing coach, to make that comment, number one, it says a lot about him. I think he's terrific. And I'm really, as much as all my Indiana buddies are going to crucify me, I'm really pushing for Oregon because I just think I think he is right now, out of the coaches that are left, the 4 coaches, I think he is the one that will be the next big splash hire at some point. And once again, it's going to be tough to get him away from Oregon the way that Phil Knight throws money around with all the Nike stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I think they should be. And there is a way to work the bowl games in, which Kevin is going to talk about, I would assume.
Yes. I'm going to get there eventually. Actually, I did. The bowl games can be for other schools and those types of things.
25 down, right?
Yeah. The playoffs should be home games for higher seeds on campuses. I think the atmospheres would be much better. The bleachers, for the most part, the stands wouldn't be filled with boosters and donors. It would be student sections and bands and things like that.
So you would prefer, again, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate, and I'm because you want to eliminate conference. I'm going to say just take the conferences out of it. So you want an Orange Bowl to be Louisiana Tech versus Southern Mississippi versus somebody down the line.
Something like the Orange Bowl would end up being, I would say, even it would still be some SEC teams. It would probably be something like, say,
it would be
South Carolina and another ACC school. Like it could have been Florida and FIU or something like that. So that
it would be similar, Zach, to what Michigan and Texas were. Was that I forget what bowl that those two played in. But
they would be in the
similar.
playoffs. But they would be in the playoffs, is my
right. But what I'm saying is, you could take that next,
you're going to get mid-range SEC, mid-range Big 12, mid-range Big 10. You're going to get some of them. You might get some of those upstart FCS or the group of 4s, the Memphises, those types that would be good bowl games. So I still think that would be a good bowl game. I think the next thing you have to do is you have to eliminate the early signing period. Go back to only have a signing period in February. Forget that crap of having to recruit through December. And then coaches don't feel like they have to leave in November in order to recruit for the early signing period. Just eliminate it altogether. Keep the portal open in January for 10 days, like what they do, so you can get that second semester transfer in. But it's after the championship games. All right. And that type of thing. I would also say if you go into the portal at some point, no, those would be graduated seniors. I had a thing about playing in those, like the Shrine Bowl and the East-West game, but it doesn't make any sense when I say it now that and my last one, absolutely the way to fix the SBS, and this one is a non-negotiable to me, is schools have to stop hiring Lane Kiffin.
Is that with an asterisk right there? Is that the?
No, it's not an asterisk. It's in bold and underlined and italics.
That is
Stop
an
hiring Lane Kiffin.
exclamation point.
Oh my
There's a
God.
hashtag at the front with no spaces. It's my Twitter hashtag for the week. Stop hiring Lane Kiffin. Nothing good ever comes from hiring Lane Kiffin.
But it would be somebody else if it wasn't him. Because again, just like in basketball, just like in NCAA basketball, and what Baylor's doing, getting a guy that got drafted by the NBA, they're just playing within the confines of the rules, and that's and that goes to. Go ahead.
But if Lane Kiffin takes over LSU in mid-January, this isn't as big of a deal as him leaving in February, wanting to still coach a team, even though he's technically being paid a buttload of money by another school.
And that other school is giving him money for as many games as his previous,
team of winning. He's at $500,000 right now, counting. Hopefully,
I know, no kidding. So I'm going to agree with you on every point except for one. 16 teams. That's it. After the last 2 years, and I am convinced, and now, Ohio State deserved to lose. And I will say that they played like garbage in the first half. They couldn't find an answer for the defensive front for Miami. And, they came out in the second half. They did what they needed to do.
Yeah.
But when you have your teams, so for the last 2 years, what was it? I think it ended up 2-6.
1-5.
1-5.
1
1-7.
1-7. Yeah.
1-7. Okay,
Yeah.
so Indiana was the only team. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think that's going over very well. So that's where I think 16, and then let it roll.
Yep.
And I agree with every point that you have. And once again, the biggest piece of this whole thing is the calendar. Once you get the calendar sorted out, then I think everything else will start to fall into place. You're not going to have this coaching carousel. The transfer portal is not going to, but once again, I mean, the other piece of this thing is NIL. I mean, come on, I'm going to tell you right now, this Washington thing.
Okay. That's later. We'll get there. We'll get there.
I know, but
who
let me
that
just
guy
preface
is,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who that guy is? Point number 9. Stop hiring Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. But and I'll deep tease this.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, that whole thing could blow NIL up, in itty bitty little pieces.
Sure.
Yeah. We'll get into that. But
here's how I'm going to go timeout. Now, I 100% agree with everything that you guys have said. And Jim, I've said on the show that I think 16 is the magic number for me. I think once you get past that, then I don't think those teams are going to have much of a chance. Now, I bring up, and I want to preface everything that Kevin said. Yes, we are all in agreement. I want to go portal. And here's what I'm going to say is I'm perfectly fine with it. And the reason why I say, is the system broken, is because of this. Pre-transfer portal, pre-NIL, you had Bama, you had Clemson, you had Ohio State, and then maybe there was going to be somebody somewhere else, right? But it was going to be Clemson, an SEC school, and a Big Ten school, and those were the only like 4 or 5 schools that were ever going to have a chance, right? Okay, here's what we got. This Final Four, you ready? Okay, Indiana, they ever win a national title? Nope, not in football. Nope. Ole Miss, when's the last time they won one? 1962. Okay. Who are the other ones here off the top of my head?
Oregon.
Oregon. Have they ever won? Nope.
No.
And then you
That's
got
it.
Miami, which that's again roughly a quarter of a century. So for all of the faults of the NIL, for all of the faults of transfer portal, which we can get into, I am okay with it because it now has opened the door for all of these other schools to have a chance. It's not we're going to be the feeding program for you for Bama.
Well, that's
whoever.
why there's a couple of reasons I went with 24 over 16. One being, I've already said it, the FCS gets it right. They have 24, emulate what's already been done well. Two, all right, because of what you said about NIL and portal and these players leaving, a 2014 playoff would then spread out some of that because then you'd have more than just 12 to 16 teams getting into the playoffs. And those 17 to 24 teams might pick up some other ones. I think if they gave one of these playoff setups, these numbers, a long enough run, because they really don't. It's a couple of years and they add more tools. I would love to see that spread, that talent get spread out a little bit more because they have the opportunity for 24 schools to get into the playoffs as opposed to going, oh, only 12 can get in. So we're going to all try to get to these 12. Oh, no, now 16's getting in. Let it run for a while and see what it does to spread out.
Yeah, give it a litmus test.
Yeah. That's my reason for 24.
And once again, let me use the FCS this year, that bracket. You know who the last team in was?
Illinois State, wasn't it?
Illinois State. Illinois State was the last team in. And look what they did. So I get that piece of it, but I also look at that bye week that it hasn't been an advantage,
and that's part of the calendar.
It's not an advantage because you don't get you have to go on a bye week and then play as a top 4 seed in the country, go on a bye week and then go play in some random place. It would be very different if you had a bye week to play at home.
Yeah.
Hey,
and it's the fact that it's Oregon 30 some odd days, or I know it was over 26 days. Yeah.
If you play until Thanksgiving, you get that 1 week at the first week of December. You play the second week at home. I think that 1-7 is a very different number.
It could be. I mean, no, you're right.
Where'd he go?
I
don't know, but no, I think
clicked the button.
Yeah, there he is.
Hey, I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
I didn't click anything.
Man,
that's all right. You're back. That's all that matters. Yeah. But that's the reason I went with 24, and I get the argument for 16. I'm thinking 15 years down the road with this, not 5 years from now.
But it could be next year.
Oh,
right?
it's going to go to it's going to go to 16 next year.
You know,
I'm going to tell you. I think honestly, Zach, I think it's going to 16 next year.
Oh yeah.
Which once again I agree. You have to let this thing run its course a little bit to see and get some actual factual data.
Right.
Okay. But with 1-7 with the buys, that's not sitting well with anybody.
That's enough in my mind. Like 2 years, and I get it. You know, it's if it's a big enough sample size. Well, it wasn't 4 and whatever. It wasn't 4-4. It's 1-7, and the one win was from a Bama team that some people thought shouldn't have been in to begin with.
I still don't think they should have been
But now that goes into the Miami part. Where should they have been in? Should they not have been in? Well, they obviously have proven that to the committee that was a good decision. Bama, obviously, not so much. But I want to go back just real quick with this transfer portal, just because. Go ahead.
Let's tease that. Let's go to our quick break. We'll bring the portal when we come back in.
All right.
So we're going to go to our break. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. If I can click the right button, this one.
I'm the guy sitting next to your girl on the kiss cam.
And this game just got a lot more interesting.
Sheila? Mom?
Fire!
And if you don't have the right home coverage, you might have to kiss your savings goodbye. Let's go, beat it. So get Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me.
Bro! Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
It's Between Takes with Daikin and Dave Mars.
Good. All right, next set up.
Hey, Dave, we got another question about energy savings. And this is a good one.
Yeah, efficiency is so important.
Didn't you just talk with Daikin about this?
They said energy efficiency is the key to a happy marriage. She gets the temperature, I get the savings.
Good to know. I'll tell them to check with their local Daikin dealer.
All right, back to one.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com. In the hobby of collecting, check out Elite Collectibles, open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. They carry a wide variety of sports cards, trading cards, magic cards, Pokemon cards, and other non-sports cards. Need some supplies? They also have sleeves, top loaders, boxes, and much, much more. They have online auctions every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and also do bulk grading submissions to SGC and CGC. Check out Elite Collectibles at 1258 Main Street in Imperial, Missouri. You can also view their entire inventory at www.elitecollecting.com.
You need new entertainment. You need full-length content. You need the Real Fresh channel. Hey, I'm Health Fresh from the Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today on YouTube. We have new content. We are a network of podcasters putting out new stuff every single day. Whether you need sports, pro or college, whether you need comedies, whether you need pop culture, whether you need wrestling, we've got so much content on there. Gaming, check it out. Live, not live, we've got it all. The Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today.
Welcome back to our second segment of the Coach's Box, guys. Episode 253. We've got Jason and Chris. They're at a basketball game this evening, so they're unable to be with us. And fellas, as we kind of go back into this, we can talk a little bit because I know we had Black Monday with the NFL that we want to get into also. But we were talking about the portal, and Jim, we can kind of meld together this Washington player issue with NIL. My question is this, right? And this is where I have the problem with all of this transfer portal stuff in NIL. I think it's a good thing. My question is, why so many? Because why so many are in the portal? Because are they being lied to? And so if that needs to change, if that's the case, right? If they're saying here, sign on this dotted line because you're going to play X amount of games, snaps, quarter, whatever, and they're not getting that, and that's why they're leaving, or is it, hey, you need to go? Like that's this whole thing that they're the kid in the situation, and so I don't think you would have 5,000 or close to 5,000 people leaving if everything was honest. And so that's kind of my question is what's the issue? What do you guys think?
I personally, I'm going to tell you right now, it's the adults in the room giving these kids very, very horribly bad advice. I mean, and you got to understand something too. Now you're dealing with agents with these kids. Okay. What do these agents want? They get 10%, I believe, was the standard, so to say. So you get these agents that are trying to tell these kids, hey, you could go here or you could get more money. You need to leave here. Okay. What does that mean for that agent? that means that agent's going to make more money because they're pushing this player to a situation where it may not work out. And then you've got parents who think their expectations are way too big. They're trying to push these kids, and you've got the parents in the room trying to say, hey, you need to go here because you're better than this. And I, you know what, and I'm going to say the FCS championship game should have proved a lot of stuff. The Division III championship game on Sunday night was terrific as well. And the NAIA national championship game done in Fort Worth a couple weeks ago was absolutely terrific. You've got 4 levels of football that you could play in, and that you can hone your craft, and that you can prove yourself to get to that amount. But you got people that just want to give bad advice. You got parents whose expectations are way too big, and they're trying to push these kids into situations. That's why I hate to say it, you get kids that go D1 and they're done. They're washed out by the end of their first year. They're coming back to D2. They're coming back to FCS, or they're coming back to NAIA. And they're trying to just rebuild their love for the game. And that's where I'm telling you, the adults in the room are giving horrible advice. And I'm going to tell you right now, what's going to happen? You got over 5,000 kids in the portal right now. That's nearly half of the possible spots that there is available to play in Division I football. What are you going to do if you don't get picked up? Then you're host. You're going to play FCS. You're going to play D2. You're not going to have a choice. And then what does that happen? Once again, it affects the kids because now their love for the game has pretty much taken a torpedo I honestly believe that. I just think the adults are given horrible advice. And I do think there's some lying as well, Zach. I will 100% believe that as well. But I think the overall thing is they're just getting horrible advice from these agents that want more money because of their commissions, or parents whose expectations are through the roof and don't understand that maybe D1 isn't for their son or daughter, so to say.
Does the kid have an and Kevin, sorry to interrupt here. Does the kid have an unrealistic expectation of thinking like I'm going to go D1, I'm going to play immediately? Like something seems off in the fact that
part of that
Jim, you're telling me half of the kids are in the portal.
Well, part of that is they have an unrealistic expectation. Some of them do, because the environment around them has given them this unrealistic expectation of themselves, or this unrealistic level of where their play is at. Whether it be parents or coaches, and it's not just in football, club coaches and some other things, and they're not all that way, but that's a very realistic thing that happens. I think I read somewhere the number was 55% of athletes that enter the portal don't find a place to go.
Yeah.
And they end up either not playing, or some of those portal things are like they're graduating and they could go to a grad year, but it's a minuscule number compared to 5,000, 5,500 people in the portal. It's just, okay, I'm going to say this too. The Texas receiver, the one that just committed to Oklahoma, wasn't he one of Texas's most productive receivers all year? The story that had come out on that is that Sarkisian went to him and asked him to take a pay cut to stay next year.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm your most productive receiver. Why am I I think they said he even would have taken the exact same amount he got this year, but they asked him to take a pay cut, and he said, no, thank you. And then he got more money from Oklahoma to go there. It's the adults. You're right. It's 100% right. It's the adults in the room.
But you know who else? Go ahead,
I
Kevin.
think one of the big things that could solve this, and I will say this, is multi-year contracts. instead of
yeah,
one at a time.
we're going there. I will tell you right now, we're going there, especially if this Washington thing blows this whole thing to smithereens. Now,
So
real quick, let me make one.
tell us that
Let me
story. Go
let
ahead.
me make one
Okay.
more point, real quick.
Mhm.
The other piece of it too is what other we haven't even talked about the other group of kids that's getting hammered because of the transfer portal.
High school.
It's the
High
high
school
school
kids.
kids. High school recruiting is dead right now.
Sure.
Well, in football, it's still a thing because of the sheer volume and numbers. In basketball, it has killed it because
Yeah.
you can go to you can record it. You can recruit an entire starting lineup out of the portal.
Well, yeah. Give me a
Holy cow.
24. Give me a 22-year-old or 3-year-old 3-star as opposed to an 18-year-old or 17-year-old 4-star without any experience. Like any coach is going to do that.
It's not even that, Zach.
Look at Signetti. Go ahead.
It's not even that.
No.
I've had a couple, coaches, assistant coaches,
Yeah.
recruiting coordinators. I've had them tell me this, and this is verbatim.
Mm-hmm.
If we have a high school kid
Mm-hmm.
and a kid in the portal that are kind of the same player,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the kid in the portal because they have been through the grind. They've been through up at 6:30,
Mm-hmm.
breakfast at 7, study table at 8,
Mhm.
classes till noon, lunch at 12:30. They know what the expectation and the grind is.
Mhm.
They comprehend and they get it because they've lived it, whereas high school kids haven't done it.
Yeah.
Why do you think the other piece of it is the high school kids that are, the big time ones?
Mhm.
They are getting early graduation so that they could start in January so that they can get used to it, be a part of spring football. Now they're acclimated.
And
That's
that's
why
just-
you're seeing that
The one
number
the one thing
going
that
up.
in some cases high school athletes are going to be are in this NIL world, they're going to be cheaper than a portal star that you're bringing in.
Mhm.
So I think there's a budgeting sense to that you can have,
Yeah.
especially as a coach. I just
Gosh.
but I think I said it like earlier, and we're getting there, and we'll talk. And I think the Washington thing will blow this up big time. Is multi-year contracts instead of signing a kid for 1 year for $2 million. It's like, hey, give me 3 years for 7, and I'll give you a buyout after 2 for this.
And just hearing you say that, since we've had this show, right? I mean, it's going back.
When would have we ever talked about this?
but well, my point is like we went to a point to where we talked about college, and do you want the transfer kid or do you want the high school kid? And it was give me the high school kid because I'll get to have him for 3 years and I'll get to develop him the way I wanted to. And now because of the almighty dollar and because of coaches get fired on a whim, then it's win now. Well, you're not going to win now with even if they are the blue chip 5-star dudes. You're going to go get this 23-year-old, 24-year-old because you're going to have to win with grown men instead of kids, right? And that's more obviously football, but
and that's the problem right
so
now.
different.
I hate to say it. Yeah. I mean, let's go back to this year. I've never seen a year to where we've seen coaches getting cut loose 5 games in, 6 games in.
Yeah.
Because guess what? It's the win now mentality because of the portal and NIL.
Yeah.
And guess what? These coaches know that. So they need to pick, they basically need to pick their poison. And unfortunately, that poison's going to be the kid in the transfer portal because they've gotten, once again, they're acclimated. They understand what they need to do and how they do it. Whereas you're not putting all your eggs in one basket with a high school kid that, okay, you may give him $100,000 if he's a 5-star or a 4-star and he washes out. And then what do you do? So yeah, I mean, but I agree with Kevin. I think the contracts are coming. I think we're seeing that with the kid from Mizzou that transferred from Georgia and went back on. that piece of it, this whole Washington thing with the quarterback.
So what is that? What's that story, Jim? Tell us that.
Well, it basically the kid goes into the portal and the kid says, "Okay, I'm going to come back." They gave him restructured. They gave him more money, and apparently signed a memorandum of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
A contract.
Well, yeah, contract. Yes. So now, all of a sudden, 4 days later, the certain hashtag Lane Kiffin starts poking around a little bit because Lane Kiffin needs a quarterback down at LSU. So the kid from Washington, after signing this memorandum of understanding, goes, "Oh yeah, peace out, boys. I'm going into the portal." And now he wants to go to LSU. Well, Washington's saying, no, 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 no. You have this. And so they're looking at the legal avenue with it. Now the Big Ten is involved and they're looking at it.
The Big
Because
Ten's the
remember
one that
too,
drafted that contract. It was the Big Ten. This quarterback also left Arizona with Jed Fish to go to Washington. He's Jed Fish's guy.
And the Big Ten also, one of the reasons why this memorandum came into being is because last year there was that big dust up. Was it Florida and Wisconsin? I know Wisconsin was a part of it, but I think it was Florida. But there was a situation where a Wisconsin kid wanted to go to Florida or another school.
It was a quarterback, wasn't it? The Mertz kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Big Ten stepped in and go, "Well, no, you can't do this." And that's where this memorandum of understanding came out. And then you've got Kirby Smart, who I think it's a brilliant idea, has come out and said, "You know what? If we bring anybody in, they're signing a 2-year contract, at least 2 years." My understanding, I forget who it was that they were just talking about. Somebody decided. Actually, they gave him a 4-year deal for $8 million. The only way he can leave is if he decides to leave after his junior year for the NFL draft,
or a coaching change. I think is the
or
other
a coaching change. I think was the other one. I forget what player it was.
So how much?
I remember that story, but yeah.
So how much legal? How much weight? How much teeth does this have? Do the schools have? Because let's be honest. Let's just because we're in the teaching profession. We get contract. We could get out of a contract if we wanted to. We might have to pay. We might have, but or the school might be like, like
our contract is $40,000 a year.
So we're not.
We can still get out of it, is what I'm saying. Like, you know, you can still get.
But we pay a penalty for it in many instances if it's after a certain
So does
time.
that?
Yeah. So there's probably clauses in these when you're talking millions of dollars, there's clauses in these very complicated contracts that say, hey, there could be a mutual out if all of these criteria are met after each year, or this type of thing. But the school, if you've signed that 4-year contract, the school could say, hey, we don't want you anymore, and you'd be like, no, it's a mutual thing. I'm staying. You're paying.
Yeah, exactly. You see, and that's the thing. It's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. So
there's a lot of risk to those multi-year contracts.
Oh yeah.
Well.
So, but here's the thing, right? So he might say, because of the way schools work, and so this goes into the universities too, because the way the schools work, they might say, okay, we've got you under NIL. We're not paying. It's a drop in the bucket, but it's like, okay, but you're not on. You're not on scholarship. You're not going to be on the team. Like, here's your NIL, but you're not playing. We don't want you.
No, that's a school decision to spend that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is where you're talking Big Ten, but now you're getting into education because the schools are involved. Like this could be. Go ahead.
Hold on, Zach.
Also,
I hate to say it.
This makes them employees in a sense too, which then adds in the whole thing with healthcare and some things. But it depends on how those memorandums are worded in order to get around that.
But I hate to say it, Zach. And don't take this the wrong way, but I want to shatter your glass house for a second.
Okay.
These kids aren't in it for education anymore.
Well, of course not.
That went away
Right.
5 years ago when this all really started percolating.
Yeah. But I mean,
And
and it's not even. But it would. What I mean is like, okay, you're at Mizzou, but the Mizzou, and you've signed your NIL deal to make, let's just say, $1 million. But Mizzou coach is going to say, we don't want you anymore. So in essence, I'm not giving you a scholarship. You're not on the team because I don't want you. So are you this free agent to where you just get
I'm
paid?
sure that there
There's
are clauses in the
Yeah.
contract to prevent that type of thing. Because if they, hey, you're not going to give me a scholarship, then that negates the contract.
But that's why I go into, and I know Jimmy already answered it, but that's where my mind goes to with all of this, with all of this transfer portal stuff, is like, well, they're obviously leaving for reasons, right? And so we all know they're all scholarships or 1-year deals, and so they could say, we don't want you. Bye.
they're leaving for reasons because of money. I mean, why is the kid from Cincinnati, the quarterback from Cincinnati, who's good? Don't get me wrong, he's good. He's going to Texas Tech. Now they got that dude down there that is bankrolling everything right now. I mean, he's like a mini Mark Cuban who's bankrolling everything in Indiana right now. But you got this dude that's throwing money around, and they bring this kid in. I think it's $5 million.
Yeah, every school is developing their own T. Boone Pickens at this point, like what Oklahoma State has.
And one comment, and I love Roy Philpott. He's play-by-play for ESPN, and he sometimes hosts a midday show on SiriusXM College Sports. Him and Roddy Jones yesterday, they were talking about this piece of it, and they both go, yeah, this kid's making $5 million. He's making more than half the NFL quarterbacks right now in their rookie years. Which is wild.
He'll be, and he's going to be a 5th or 6th round draft pick next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why they want to stay in and get as many years of eligibility and get the waivers.
Diego Pavia is not getting drafted into the NFL. He wants to stay in college to keep getting money.
I don't think he's gonna get another year, number one. I think he's gonna get drafted. But I'm sorry, after his behavior at the Heisman Trophy, oh, for God's sakes.
He fits perfectly into the quarterback room at Cleveland.
I was gonna say Cleveland.
That's why I'm hoping they hire Harbaugh to clean that 3-ring.
No. I'm talking.
Okay,
you can forget
good
that.
segue.
Cleveland is Deion Sanders, and that's all it's going to be.
I was gonna say that's what's gonna happen.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Why not? That would be perfect.
Here's Cleveland the thing, ever does Cleveland things, it's going to be.
Oh, it's going to be Deion. We're going to segue into this real quick. But here's the thing. What'd they say? There's 6 NFL head coaching openings, but 7 teams have contacted Harbaugh. You know who the 7th team is? Miami.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Listen, there's probably only maybe 8 NFL teams that have a better head football coach than John Harbaugh.
Yeah. John
Harbaugh. Should be 22 teams.
Why is Baltimore? Explain this. Okay, 18 years. Why is Baltimore firing Harbaugh? Make it make sense.
Because he wouldn't fire his offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
that's exactly.
He wouldn't fire Todd Monken.
And so you let this guy go, who's again, you can tell me if I'm wrong, arguably one of the better NFL coaches.
He's a Hall of Famer. When it's all said and done, and he steps away, he's a Hall of Famer.
Were they
100%
not competitive? I'm using the term competitive because Lamar has been hurt more than just this year.
Well, I think the way that they've handled Lamar, I think that but I don't even think it's that. I just think that the front office wanted to make a move on the offensive coordinator side. They wanted Todd Monken gone, and Harbaugh's very, very loyal to his guys, and was like, "Nope, I'm not doing it." And they're like, "Okay, well, you got a choice to make there, cuz you better. It's either him or we're not bringing you back." And John said, "Guess what? I can go name my price at any opening right now, and we'll see you later.
Well, okay,
Because
now
some of
let
those
me.
open jobs are much better positions than because I think the Giants with a good head coach are primed to be a breakout team. With Dart
with
and
Jackson Dart,
Adams.
yes.
That
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
Kevin, no. That is
It's
those
true.
are all dumpster fire of places. Hold on.
Hold on.
You're gonna say the New York Giants, who didn't re-sign Saquon, that let them go to Philadelphia.
I think their GM's gone after this
that
year.
won
I
the
think
Super Bowl. That is they're all fired. They're all getting fired because those programs are dumpster fires anyway. And my point is, Kevin, you have been at a place for a very long time. So put your cap on and say you have won for 18 years. You're a Hall of Famer. Do you want to go do that, or do you want to go be an analyst and make money? Like, do you want after a lot of success? Do you want that uber challenge of taking over a dumpster fire program?
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton has done wonders in Denver.
Did they take their lumps last year?
What they have to do is absolutely give him control and then give him time.
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't know. Arizona's a dumpster fire because they don't really have a quarterback.
The Raiders.
Most of
the Raiders.
These issues aren't about coaching and players. The issues about front office in all of these dumpster fire.
See, and that's where
but you have to give the control to John Harbaugh and let him pick his own GM, which I think some places would do.
See, Andrew Barry, I mean, that's going to be the problem with Cleveland. As much as I would absolutely love Harbaugh to get that job, he's not. And as much as I think you're out of your mind, Kevin, with Sanders, I got a bad feeling it's going to happen.
Listen,
and that's going to continue.
For the better part of television and the NFL,
it is going to
prime time.
It is going to continue to set that franchise back 1,000 years.
Listen, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he's bringing Gucci.
Exactly. And you know what? He might be a better coach because think about it. He's going to let somebody call the offense, he gets to be in the spotlight like Jerry Jones, and he gets to call timeouts, and that's all he's going to have to worry about. Like,
I
think he
doesn't have to recruit.
He doesn't have to recruit.
He doesn't recruit anyway.
Oh man, I think he would do it.
Hey, you say that. That reminds me of draft day when I just brought my pretty wife from Dallas, a place that she really loves, to here.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, the GM in Cleveland has a little post-it note that says, "Always Deion Sanders." Folded up.
Deion, no matter what, right?
Andrew Barry does not have that, and somebody needs to go in and burn his office down.
Well, okay, so there's
the contract on fire.
There's the Giants, the Raiders, Baltimore. What are
Atlanta?
Atlanta. Now, see, okay, does Kirby Smart?
No. Tennessee.
What really?
Now, here's what I'll say. Atlanta gets interesting if Matty Ice takes the director of football operations job, which they're basically Arthur Blank is backing up the Brinks truck to Matt to try and get him to lure him out of the studio with CBS and to come and be the director of football, basically the general manager. Now, you put him and Harbaugh together, that's not a bad duo to try and turn your franchise around. Because, Matt Ryan is a very intelligent, smart person. You know who he reminds me of? And people think that Andrew Luck going to Stanford to be the GM of was just the most stupidest thing anybody ever heard.
He's awesome in that job.
Number one, he's raised over $25 million for the collective. Number two, he's getting guys in there that want to play for Stanford, and I think their coaching hire was pretty damn good as well. Even though I wish they would have kept Frank Wright, I think Frank would have been terrific. But he's turning that thing around. I think Matt Ryan in Atlanta as the director of ops, and then you get Harbaugh in there. Ooh, I'm telling you, they turn that puppy around in a couple years.
And it's in the South, so it's always competitive.
And
exactly.
And you got to cook, and you have an owner that's willing to spend money.
Arthur Blank will rip open the checkbook in a heartbeat.
And you got a running back.
You got the best stadium in the business.
Yeah.
In the Mercedes-Benz. The other name that I've heard a couple of times in some particular specific jobs is Phillip Rivers.
I just don't know if he would be a head coach. Now, do I see him as no coordinator? Yeah. But I don't see him as a head coach.
I don't know if the personality, maybe.
The bad thing is you're going to see some retreads. You're going to see Cliff Kingsbury come up in one of these jobs.
Now that's the dude that I sure would have thought would have been a college. Said, you know what? Let me go to college, be a dude there, get my name up, get my credibility back, and then jump back to the NFL. He would be one.
I was going to say this. I think being a college head coach is now the low end of the totem pole in coaching hires.
Really?
Because the NIL, the collectives, the recruiting, the 24/7, 365. I think it's more appealing to be a
coordinator.
More appealing to be an NFL coordinator than it really is even to be an NFL head coach. If you take the paycheck.
Kevin, remember, why did Chip Kelly leave UCLA? Because he didn't want to deal with all this stuff. That's why he wanted to be the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. That's why Saban retired. That's why on the basketball side,
he just wants to coach football.
Well, and that's the thing is that you're talking about
he's going to be
that are older. Yeah.
Tony Bennett down in Virginia. He was tired. He didn't want to do on the basketball side. He didn't want to deal with all the other BS. He just wanted to coach.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why. And I think within the next 2 years, there's going to be another big wave of some of the older coaches in college football saying, you know what, this ain't for me anymore. I'm done. And
let me give you another name. Why not Belichick to New York?
He's already said he doesn't want to leave North Carolina.
Okay. I mean, but I think he's got I heard he's got a good relationship with that ownership.
With Mara.
His relationship is what's keeping him in North Carolina.
In North Carolina. Keeping him young and spry.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else we want to add to any of this?
Nope. I thought it was pretty good show. And a lot of
predictions. Real quick, predictions for the two games.
Gosh,
predictions for the two games.
Gosh, I want Indiana and I want Ole Miss. I want them both. You guys go ahead while I think.
I want Oregon, and because I just want to see Cignetti's head explode off of his shoulders if Oregon wins tomorrow night. And I'm going to tell you right now, Miami. I mean, if you guys watch that defense against Ohio State, and what they did with those two, with that D end and that tackle, and how they just made it absolutely disgusting for the Ohio State offensive line. But here's the thing. Who's playing the best football right now out of anybody out of these four teams?
Indiana.
No,
I want
Oregon.
Well, Ole Miss.
What quarterback is playing the best out of any quarterback out of these four?
Probably
Chambliss.
Yeah. Well, here's what I want. I want Indiana. I want Indiana and Ole Miss to go to the championship. Whoever wins is great. And then the next week, I want Peter Berg to start writing the movie script, and I want him to get Billy Bob Thornton, and I want him to get all these other actors, and we need to have the next best athletic sports movie. Come on, Peter Berg, let's do it. That's what I want.
I want I'm going to say this. I want Indiana and Ole Miss, but I think as a team-wise, what we've seen the last couple of weeks, I think Oregon and Miami are playing two of the best team football around.
Yeah.
And if it gets there, I think Oregon wins their first national title.
I'm, Kevin, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I think, the two teams that are just really, I think Indiana, Oregon is just going to be a knockdown, drag out, heavyweight battle. But once again, I think Oregon can do a few things. Now, the bad thing is Oregon's running back is out. So the kid from Althoff is going to get a lot more carries, and I think he can handle the load.
Yeah.
Wow. I like once again, there's just something in the back of my mind that says that Ole Miss is not going to be denied.
Tell me that's not one would be the greatest stories ever.
I just wonder
with Indiana and Ole Miss.
Distractions each week about who's coaching, who's going to stay coaching, and I just think there's too much there to overcome. Especially you're not playing Mississippi State when you do this. You're playing
the only other
Miami, who's one of the best teams in the country right now.
The only reason I want to say Ole Miss loses is I don't want them to win and then all of a sudden Lane go, okay, you know what, fuck, you know what, guys? Oopsie. But you know what, guys? I've let you have your fun coaching these guys for the last couple games. No more. You're either there or you're here.
That is such a Lane Kiffin.
That would be number 9.
Exactly
number 9. Again,
why do you think Iowa?
Petersburg.
Why do you think I almost said why do you think I almost dropped that?
How would that is
right
Act 3, the start of Act 3 right there.
Yes, it's right now. I can see Adam Sandler as Lane Kiffin.
Oh, who would
but
be?
Do you understand why that word
do.
Almost came out of my mouth?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's Lane. That's exactly what he would do. Ole Miss wins.
Now I want Ole Miss to win because I want to see this happen.
Hey,
it's a trade.
If they win, if those two team wins, then what we're going to wind up doing is we're going to figure out who would be playing who in all of the parts for the movie.
Oh my God!
Who would be Lane Kiffin? That's what we're going to have.
I'll come back. I'll come back next week for that one.
That would be great.
But
you heard it first. Petersburg, get on it. Let's go,
guys. We've had a really good show tonight. I think we talked a lot of really great stuff. But it is time to call it a night. It's getting late.
Yep.
We've got work in the morning.
Yep.
So
this first week
I'm
back,
I'm headed to Columbia tomorrow for the state softball coaches.
There you go.
Eat
some Shakespeare's.
I'm going to spend some of my time on Mizzou's campus with Larissa Anderson and the Mizzou softball team. She's doing like a 3-hour class at practice.
That's cool.
Nice. Yeah,
neat.
Yeah, we roll. We get back into conference play tomorrow night. Our basketball side of things. I'm still trying to figure it out because it is so topsy-turvy, crazy, ridiculous. So I will be watching a lot of basketball over the next bunch of weeks, trying to figure out what kind of a tournament we're going to have at the end of February.
We're good.
So, yep. All right. Anything else to add to close up shop before I?
I'll be back sooner than later.
All right. Well, Jim, it was good to see you again, bud. I hadn't seen you in a while.
Yeah. And like I said, I'll be back now that things have slowed down a little bit and I can breathe. I got to come back when Jarvis is around so I could yell at him.
Hey, and you know what? The show is smooth, and just because you get a couple knuckleheads out of here, things just happen to run a little bit better now.
I'm glad you said it and not me. But
that's good. So Kevin, go ahead, man.
All right, I'm hitting the button. See you guys.
See ya.
Deuces.
This episode of the Coach's Box Call It Like We See It podcast is brought to you by Off the Rails Media. Life's more fun when you're off the rails.